Oh, guys, good, you're here. I am so excited. Guess what? I hope this isn't about your podcast again. Why, did you finally listen to it?
Before we start this podcast, let me invite you to subscribe to the podcast on iTunes, YouTube, or any podcaster. I'm such a cute.
Gobble, 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 gobble.
Let's do the turkey dinner dance. Come on, let's go. Join right in and follow me. You can do it fast or slow. Turkey to the left, cha-cha-cha. Turkey to the right, cha-cha-cha. Turkey up and turkey down. Turkey all around. Suing gravy to the left, cha-cha-cha. Suing gravy to the right, cha-cha-cha. Suing gravy up and down. Suing gravy all around. Mashed potatoes to the left, cha-cha-cha. Mashed potatoes to the right, cha-cha-cha. Mashed potatoes up and down. Mashed potatoes all around. Pumpkin pie to the left, cha-cha-cha. Pumpkin pie to the right, cha-cha-cha. Pumpkin pie up and down. Pumpkin pie all around. Happy Thanksgiving, everyone.
Gobble, 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 gobble. Sit down.
Hello, Pups and Kittens, and welcome to another fun-filled episode of The Groomer Next Door. This is going to be episode 152. Well, it's just going to be me today. Unfortunately, Sarah is out handling a call issue and won't be able to join us. But don't worry, it's going to be just as fun-filled as all the other episodes, and we have a special guest joining us later on. Her name is Rebecca, and she's the owner of the Blue Cat Cafe in Austin, Texas. She's going to tell us all about what a cat cafe is, and she's going to tell us a story that she's unfortunately gone through since opening up the Blue Cat Cafe. This week's fun fact of the week, staying in the realm of cat cafes. Cat cafes in expensive cities like Tokyo, London, New York, Sydney, and Singapore charge a time-based fee to cover rent, vet bills, 24-hour utilities, and wages, and more. Can you imagine that? That is just crazy. And for all of you who have no idea what a cat cafe is, you will learn about it really soon. And you're going to say, I wish I could actually go to one. So with that said, let's dive into the Weekly Roundup.
The Weekly Roundup, yeehaw.
Alright, this week on our Weekly Roundup, we have a lot to cover. On our adoption situations. Now, as you know, we have been fostering quite a lot of cats over this summer. A lot of them have been adopted out to absolute wonderful people. But, you know, it's funny, once the microphone is turned off on a Sunday, we typically have a lot happening. And it's kind of funny why we record on a Saturday when on Sundays are usually the days that, oh my gosh, craziness happens. So, last week, when you guys were all listening to our last episode, things were going on over here. We actually had been contacted about Lucky. They had seen Lucky during the pet adoption last week and said, we really love that cat and we really want to be able to adopt him. Is that possible? Well, of course it was. You know, we didn't change, and when I say we, I mean Pete Call, did not change the actual adoption rate of $15. We wanted to make sure that these cats went to a good home, but we didn't want people to feel like the large cost to, you know, recoup the vetting that went into it were going to be applied to the people. So what happened was only $15. All the cats had been vetted through our veterinarian choice, spayed or neutered, which most of them were neutered. We had mostly both the males. All were heartworm negative tested. All of them went through flea treatment and everything else. They were up to date on their shots. They had their rabies vaccinations. You name it, they had it. So we got the contact about Lucky, and we're like, sure, no big deal. I personally was kind of looking forward to sitting at home for the one day that we have off a week, and that typically does not happen. Case in point. So we said, we can bring over Lucky to your house. Let us know what time, works for you. And we went over. Turns out Lucky went to an amazing family. The husband and wife are both very successful. They have 2 great kids. And this cat is going to be treated absolutely wonderfully. I am so happy to see our hard work reap this type of reward. Here we had Lucky, who, as you guys all remember, was literally hours from death. During the summer, we got contacted that there was a kitten at the time, severely dehydrated, emaciated, unable to walk, and was underneath the truck of one of our customers, underneath her truck at the house. They said, well, we know that you guys rescue. What can we do? Well, bring them over. We'll do everything we can. We honestly were not convinced that we were going to be able to save Lucky, but we wanted to make sure we gave it, the old college try, so to speak. We were able to rehydrate Lucky, which that was very important, obviously, and we got him to the vet the very next day, because by the time we picked him up, the vet was already closed. So the vet said that he was obviously very dehydrated, emaciated, and had a warble. Okay, no big deal. They gave him an IV fluid, put him on some special food, and we worked with him. He was under a pound when we first actually took him into our house. We were able to put 2.5 pounds exactly, on him within just a matter of a week. He didn't walk for the first, I want to say, 4 days. But with a lot of hard work, making sure he was well taken care of, he was able to start walking. Didn't meow for a little bit. That warble had to be surgically removed, which, if you're not familiar with what a warble is, it is a fly egg that typically gets into a kitten's skin when they're born outside, pretty much. And the actual kitten will roll around on the dirt, and usually the fly eggs are there. Well, what happens is the fly egg gets into the skin, kind of buries its way in, and that fly egg ends up kind of growing within the skin. Well, it has to be surgically removed or the cat will die. Well, all this had been taken care of, and of course, during this whole process, we're Facebook posting all of it. So you can always go back on our Facebook page and take a look at all that if you want. Lucky turned out to be absolutely a gorgeous cat. I mean, he's still kitteny. He's still got that kitten look to him, but no longer does he have that nasty, furry look that he had originally. He's got a great coat, great personality, meow, sweet, loving cat. And here he's been adopted by a wonderful family. Great house, great family, absolutely amazing. So it was one of those stories of, here's a cat that literally went and used a couple of his 9 lives, but you know what? It was worth it. He's got a great life. And of course, we had another adoption go on, and that was, we had our youngest rescue, which was, as he was called Freddy, because it was kind of like Freddy Krueger. We were going to watch A Nightmare Before on Elm Street movie that night, particularly because we were close to Halloween at that specific time. And so we were going to watch that movie, and Sarah went out. It was really bad rainstorm, and Sarah saw this kitten dart across the street. She was able to pick it up, brought it home. We were able to give him food and, got him through everything he needed. He was adopted, but unfortunately, which, kind of funny, the family was going to be going out of town last week, and they weren't going to be able to take Freddie in. Now they're going to rename Freddie, which we always encourage everybody to rename the cat to whatever works for them. These are kittens. We just need to know what to call them so that they come to food. Of course, typically you just shake the food and they're going to come over, so they don't really care if it's, hey Freddy or shake, shake, shake a food. So what's cool about this is that we were like, no big deal, just whenever you come back on vacation, let us know. And they said, well, we'll be back a week from Monday. All right, no problem. So because I'm recording this on a Sunday right now, we'll be taking him to his forever home tomorrow. And ironically, this is kind of odd, he's actually being adopted by the aunt of the person who adopted Lucky. So we know that he's going to another good home. So that's a really cool story. We already mentioned that we were able to adopt out Spencer, but we did a house check this week, and Spencer is doing absolutely phenomenal. He's getting along really well with the cat that's at the house, and him and his new pet parent are bonding exponentially. So that's really good news. Seems like all of our fosters have found forever homes. They're all very happy. We've talked to multiple different families, whether it's, let's see, we know that's the other one, actually, as I was thinking about the Ozark Actors Kittens. We still have 2 of them. One of the kittens making a great transition to his new home, and Lady Macbeth, who was the mom to the Oat Cats. She is absolutely doing very well with her forever home. We had some photos of her and her mom just the other day. The 2 of them are bonding. For the first time, I've actually seen McBee playing like a kitten, which we never got to see her do this because she was too busy being a mom. She is rolling around like a kitten. She is on her back playing. She's snuggling with her new mom, and it is an absolute lovely story. So another successful story in that instance. All we have left right now out of I called it the terrific 9, which became, I think, 11. But all we have left is Toil and Double Double. Those 2, they don't really want to leave. We had a possible adoption for Double this week, but I honestly want to say I think that Double tanked it on purpose. In front of the owner, kind of was hissing and raised his back, which he doesn't do. But I think he knew that she was there to want to adopt him, and he sacked that one. But it's okay. And of course, on our Facebook page, if you haven't seen it, he loves to watch anything on TV. Especially, he likes sports. Watch the World Series, watches hockey, loves to watch sports. So if you are one of those people who love sports, he's that kind of cat for you. And then I heard that there's a possibility that somebody is interested in adopting him. So we very likely will be with only one or maybe both of them gone by Christmas, which I really am hopeful, because we're going to have puppies coming around here very soon who are going to need rescuing, and who better to rescue than us, obviously. Lastly, I actually wanted to mention, considering I'm recording this now on Sunday instead of Saturday typically, we just came from a really cool show. As you guys see all the time on our page, we always talk about the Ozark Actors Theater. We went to see their new show, which is unfortunately only on a 9-day run, which, if you haven't made it out there, if you're not even close to Central Missouri, unfortunately this won't matter, but if you are near Central Missouri, this is definitely something to hear. They have a show called Black Comedy. Absolute amazing show. I had a lot of fun watching it. It's a 1-act, 85-minute show. The actors are absolutely hysterical. I would definitely recommend anybody, if you're in the area or you're nearby, make a plan to come out and see the show before it's gone. Like I said, it's a 9-day run, and we're already 3 days into that 9. So there's only 6 days left. Gotta get out to see Black Comedy. Absolutely a lot of fun. Well, with all that, that is our weekly roundup. So let's make way for our guest.
Oh, hello. Hold on a sec. Dad, we have a guest on the podcast.
All right, this week we are actually joined, and I'm really happy to say we're joined by Rebecca. She is the owner of the Blue Cat Cafe in Austin, Texas. So I think I'm getting this right on location. I'm almost 100% sure. Thank you so much for making time with us. I'm so glad to talk to you.
Of course. I'm happy to be talking to you too and be on the show. And
welcome to Podcast World. I think this is your very first experience into it, so this is great.
Yeah. Well, I've been on one before, and we were touching on this. I kind of it was a brief one, and so this is the real deal now. Like, this is, okay, I've been on podcasts before, but
we'll just ignore the other ones. We'll pretend that they never existed.
If you're listening, I don't want to say that. I remembered it just now, though. So the first one I ever did was when I was doing a Kickstarter for the Cat Cafe, and that was just like really rushed, like we were talking about. No bueno. And then the second one, though, was from the cafe, and it was kind of like right after we opened, and it was Crazy Cat Podcast. I want to say I have to look. I have a sticker around here, but anyway, so that girl has a podcast all about cats specifically, but I know you're a little bit broader.
Yeah, we try to be. We really try to be. I mean, I am one of those people. I communicate with a lot of podcasts. I don't have that competitive nature that's, just trying for it, and it's all about us now. We actually love a lot of podcasts, actually some that are even local in the state of Missouri and even in Texas. So I have no fear of that. I actually love to have them on the podcast too. So it's cool.
Crazy Cat Podcast, that's what it was. It's pretty good.
I actually have to check it out. I have to check that out.
Yeah, everyone should check it out.
Well, tell us what a cat cafe really is, because I have no idea until I actually looked it up.
Yeah, and you know what? I've never been to any other cat cafe, so this is kind of a new experience. But everything I've learned about cat cafes has been through the internet. A couple years back, probably start 2009 or 10, I just kind of happened chance on a blog that was talking about cat cafes and sharing pictures, and cat cafes kind of came out of Japan, Taiwan, Korea, and the reason was that folks couldn't quite keep cats in their, from what I understand, right? This is, I don't know, but this is what I read. Because you can't believe everything off the internet.
True.
But from what I understand, they exist because, not everyone can have a cat in their apartment or their home. And it's more restrictive to have cats, and it's kind of like living in New York City or San Francisco, or even Austin. Sometimes it's difficult to own an animal because lives are crazy and spaces are small and all that stuff. So anyways, they developed, somebody opened one in Japan, and they kind of sprouted from there. And then the first cat cafe in North America opened in Quebec, Montreal, about 3 years ago, maybe 2.5, and then Cat Town opened in 2 years ago. And I had been kind of thinking about it and talking about it, but working other jobs. And when I heard on the radio that Cat Town was opening, that's when I started saying to myself, okay, this is time to do it. Like, I want to do this. This sounds so much fun. So, I started, just like getting thoughts together and just kind of researching a little bit, and then making a business plan, and figured out I needed a tremendous amount of money that I didn't have. And from there, I started looking into Kickstarter, and did a Kickstarter for a couple of months, and reached a goal. And Kickstarter is like all or none, so it was pretty stressful. And then the real work began of finding a place and building it out and getting busy and getting products in and figuring out your everything from how you're going to pay your employees to everything. So it's been kind of a wild ride, but the cats are the easiest thing about it. We have about 20 to 30 Austin Humane Society cats here at a time. We're a partner with them. And going into it, I was like terrified that they would like all be fighting. And, like if you introduce a cat to your own cats, you got to be a cat person to know that you can't just like bring cats together when they're used to a space and they're humans and everything. But these cats are so happy to be out of cages, and they walk into this space and they get along and they're happy.
And you know what, that's what matters. I mean, we, as you know, we pick up all kinds of situations where we'll go and we'll rescue cats, and we have to bring them into our environment. And for the most part, they're pretty good about not fighting unless they have a smell on them. Then it's a little territorial. It's like, leave me alone. So I know exactly what you're talking about. And yes, I did do some research on the whole cat cafe originating, and it does seem like it came from Asia, because as you were saying, it is this really small, condensed. You would almost think, for anybody in the States, it kind of has that New York apartment where there's just enough room for a kitchen and maybe a place to sleep. So the Orient doesn't have a lot of that. And we've done a lot of different stories about the Orient and different things that go on there. So it is a weird concept, the idea that you couldn't have a cat, or your place is a shoebox and you barely have enough room.
But I mean, we have places like that in the U.S. for sure. And so in San Francisco and New York City, and even here now in Austin, and absolutely. And also you have other predicaments. Maybe your partner is allergic, or maybe you're a student in a dorm, or because we have UT here, we have 50,000, I want to say, around 50,000 students going to school each semester just there. Then we have St. Edward's and ACC, and so we're a college town, and we're a town of a lot of commuters, and so there's a lot of situations where you can't have an animal pet, and more specifically a cat if you're a cat person. And so we like to think, and we do know that we feel that need here. A lot of people will come in saying that they're here for their kitty fix, or and so a lot of people get it for that and come in for that. But also other people just come in and they say, I have 2 or 3 cats, and but that's not enough right now. So it's just fun. It's fun to be around a lot of cats.
I would imagine so.
They're so zen and chilled.
Now, you had said that they come from the Austin Humane Society. Now, is there other shelters or organizations that you actually have cats come in from, or is it just them?
In a way, we do a lot of work with, not directly, but indirectly with Austin Animal Center. So we are the #1 largest no-kill shelter in the U.S. here in Austin, and that's all in part because of how the shelters and the rescues work together around here. Austin Animal Center takes in, last year, I think it was 18,000 cats and dogs.
Wow.
And then all the rescues around here help pull all those animals, including the Humane Society, Austin Pets Alive, and just a million other ones out there. And so, in a way, there's a lot of cats here that come from the Austin Animal Center because the Humane Society pulled them from there.
Gotcha. Do you have adoption events?
We're just like kind of making room at each one. I'm sorry?
Do you have adoption events that go on kind of an Austin, what am I trying to say there? Often basis, or do you do any adoptions while?
We have definitely had some. I like to invite other rescues here. They can't quite bring their cats in to mix with our cats.
Right.
But we have a space out front, And just last July, for example, we had Kitten Wonderland, and the idea was maybe we can't bring all the cats in here, or the kittens, but we can use the space out front to allow other rescues to set up tents, big 10 by 10s, and bring in their kittens. And because that time of the year, the kitten season.
Yes.
Everybody needs to move the kittens, find them homes. It's just, there's a population explosion because of the warm weather. And, so we can use our space that way, but, and we do whatever we can to promote anybody in the area that's working with cats.
That's awesome.
We're all things cats. And TNR, I know you're a TNR fan.
Yes.
I love working with the Austin Humane Society, most of all because of how much they do for TNR. For anyone out there that doesn't know about TNR, it stands for Trap, Neuter, Return. I'm sure if they listen to your podcast, then they know all about it. But it's a great program. There's some cats that do prefer to stay out on the street. They're always going to be a little bit feral. They're never really going to be, they're always going to be outside, but we can do our part for them. And for the health population of cats in the area to make sure that they're vaccinated and fixed, and moms aren't going to go on number 5 round, litter. And be kind of unhealthy and stressed out her whole life, and the males getting less fight when they're fixed, and when they're all vaccinated. It just makes a huge difference in the quality of life for these animals, and so we can do that for them. And the Humane Society does that in a large degree in Austin, and so does the Austin Animal Center, and they work together to do that. So a lot of the cats in here do have the tipped ear that signifies that they were found astray and they were going through that program. And then they came out to be really social, sweet animals that wanted to be indoors with humans. And so we do have a lot of tipped ears cats in here, and I love seeing that. To me, I mean, that's the most wonderful thing, is to get that information out there.
Very much so. Now, here's a weird thing I was wondering about. Do you have to have a special permit to serve food and drinks with cats in the cafe?
If you're running a restaurant, you do need to clear it with your health and safety and all the different departments downtown. I went into the city of Austin. We call it the one-stop shop here, and I probably had to explain the concept and how we were going to do things 100 times. And every city is different. Some are going to be easier than others, but yeah, it took a lot of talking about it with the city and working. How are we going to do this in a way that's the most safe for human consumption, and every city is going to be different.
That I would imagine that was hard. Because
I think that I think the one in DC, they bring. I've never been, and I'd love to go. I'd love to. Cat Town Man, if you're listening. Adam visited. He's on a. You should reach out and talk to him. Full of information about this stuff, but he's been going on a tour recently to visit them and see how they all work, and they're all different. You just kind of have to figure out what your city will allow and what you can do, and then go from there.
Oh, that's awesome. If you have the information on them, just shoot me an email. I'll definitely get in contact with them. That'd be fun.
Yeah.
Because we don't want to throw his stuff out there so everybody has it, and then they'll be like, "Oh, well, here, I'm going to send an email." No, just wonderful person, and truly someone that inspired me in a great way. And when he came around a few weeks ago, I was just blown away. I mean, it was like a dream come true, like meeting a hero, somebody that. If he hadn't done what he did, I probably wouldn't do this. For me, it did take knowing. I didn't think a cat cafe would work in the U.S., and it took someone with
some tenaciousness, and it took a couple of them, their team, and so anyways, I was just really inspired by what they were doing, and just really felt like it's something that Austin needed.
And see, look at by what they taught you and what they had their message, it made this happen. Now let's dive into the real question mark I've had is, why did the protesters start protesting your shop?
Oh, well, we've gone through dozens of protests since day one. It's been a very hard thing for me to even begin to talk about. For a long time, Jacques and I, who is the co-founder here, we didn't talk about it because there was a piñata shop next door to where we are, on the corner, and it was demolished a couple years ago. We didn't have anything to do with that demolishment. It was handled incorrectly. Mm-hmm. The owners did settle, and I'm so happy for them. We reached out to them when we first came into the space and learned that they still were settling. And but at any rate, the owners of this space and that space are the same. And so apparently there was a boycott on anyone that did business with them until the piñata shop settled. And so we just didn't realize that. And we were, we already signed the lease. So anyways, we did what we could, but we were locked in and we just had to move on, and then opening day, and even before opening day, we started getting protests, and they show up with the microphones, and it's the things that are said, and the way that are said. There's a lot of words that I can't even repeat,
right.
And there's a lot of hostility, and I can understand the problem of gentrification and the things that they're talking about. So it's just been a very tough road. I've done everything I can to make protesters happy, and try my very best from where I'm at to bring some peace to this space in this area. But I don't think they want it. So unfortunately, I think it will go on forever.
And see, but I read up on it, of course. I read up on all of our guests, and I read about this, and I not having a shop there, I can have that open voice to it. You signed your lease. There's the part that these people don't understand is that you signed a legal contract that could have literally taken everything away from you. You had no choice. You had no idea.
A lot of people walk in and they're like, well, why don't you just move down the road?
You can't.
It's not like moving an apartment. First of all, you're legally in a contract. Mm-hmm. Second of all, you spend every dime you had. I think when we opening day, I had X amount of money to open up, including the money that I raised, which of course wasn't nearly half of what,
Right.
We didn't, it's not, Kickstarter was, came out, I think it was after taxes and everything, it was, maybe 40 from the 60 that was raised. Plus you got, so anyways, but it wasn't nearly as much as what was put into it. I mean, it was about 3 times as much, but you'd have to ask my accountant, who was always trying to get a hold of me. When are you available?
Right.
Let's look at the bank account. Yeah. So I think opening day, I had a couple $100.
I believe it.
And we spent every single thing just to get to an opening day, and then. So it's to shut a business down for months, pack everything up, find a new space, move over. It's not something we can do. On the other hand, they could say, well, the piñata shop did that and they didn't have any choice. And I say that's true, but I didn't have anything to do with that. And I sympathize with them. I'm congratulating them on their settlement. and I would like to see them succeed, and I would like to help out in any way possible. But the Pinata Shop shows up, and they are protesters of the Cat Cafe.
I looked at it and I read a lot about this, and I can be sympathetic that you enjoy, these people were loyalists to a shop. That's great and all. What I don't understand is that, yes, you can be upset with property management. Property management handled it incorrectly. But what the thing that they don't get is that you had a legal contract, you didn't know anything of the prior tenants, the destruction of the Pinata Shop to make...
No, I knew about that, the destruction. I didn't know they hadn't settled, and that, I'm like running a Kickstarter during all that stuff, and didn't realize that they hadn't settled, and I honestly didn't really piece it together. The space looks so different when I moved in that you can't tell, and so it was just a weird thing, It was just. I feel like I made a mistake coming in here, but I've done everything I can, and so at some point I have to just focus on the cats and the making sure this place is clean and safe, and that people are happy, and that's all we can do. I've tried everything I can, from getting the parking lot where the trampoline used to be handed over to the city via pocket park idea. Mm-hmm. I've tried negotiating, talking, just talking about it with them. I've tried to reach out to local folks who might have some ideas, and I just, it seems like they're just in it to protest now, and I'm sorry for that. I have to just focus on these cats and my employees. That's all I can do.
Well, you're in it now.
We're literally only one woman.
Right. Now, what kind of damage has been caused, and how much will it cost to repair the damage?
Well, the biggest damage, I think, is the defamation that we've endured, but what is that? That's priceless, of course.
Right.
But we've replaced locks. I'm spending thousands on new security. Right now, I was late to this interview because we've got contractors showing up, bought cameras. It's become clear to me that I'm going to have to protect myself, and so we've had graffiti sprayed on the trailer and on the cat cafe, and we've had things written on the sidewalk, and because the last protest, our locks were super glued shut, so we literally couldn't get in. And then a lot of we were supposed to have a busy morning, but we couldn't serve them or do anything. So the damages can be calculated, and then also, I can't really say.
I understand. No, I understand. I know.
I can sit down and figure it out, but
no. I understand. I understand that this is going to be really hard, and it's very difficult. Obviously, that one of the reasons why I told you I really wanted to talk to you about this is because I know you have a valid story, and I don't think that these stories are actually expressed enough. I don't think that we're in an age and stage in this world of let's stomp out bullying, but here's a good clear-cut case of somebody who actually is doing something good, being bullied, and really honestly you're not getting the protection you deserve. I'm going to
protect myself now. So my sister, this is the craziest. A couple crazy things happened out of this. Number one, the day the vandalism occurred, I called the guy that I co-founded this place with, and was talking to him about the vandalism, and I never would have. I probably wouldn't have talked to him that day. He's busy doing other things, and he's the serial entrepreneur, and I hadn't talked to him in a while, and then he passed away that night.
Oh, wow.
And so I'm grateful that it happened in a way, because I got to talk to him and laugh with him and thank him one more time. He was just like here all the time when we were opening. There's no way I could have gotten through opening day without him. I mean, there's no way. So I'm grateful for that. Everything has its good thing. And then the other thing is that my sister, I was talking about putting more cameras up and doing more for security and just like, getting us to where we needed to be secure, getting motion lights up, getting more cameras around the trailer and the cat cafe and all that. And inside and, just doing more. But when you're a small business and you don't really make a profit, you talk about these things, but then you have to like say, well, I'll table that until we talk to the accountant, right. and that kind of thing. So, I mean, it's just, there's a lot of, it's just a balancing act all the time. And so, she put out a GoFundMe, and she kind of texted me about it and just said like repairs to the cat cafe. And I thought, okay, well, that's really sweet. And she texted me and she was like, hey, you got $200. And I was like, okay, well, that's a camera.
Right.
That's amazing. And then the next day she was like, it was like 300 maybe. And so it was just like, it was her friends at university who are just pitching in like $5-10 to make sure that we were safe. And then it just kind of started trending. People were sharing it. And all of a sudden, the next day it was at 1,000. And then the next day it was at 3,000. And then the next day it was at like 7,000. And then right now it's like a couple weeks later, and it's like at $15,000.
Yes, you are actually trending. You're trending right now on GoFundMe, actually.
And so I'm just like, I'm blown away by the support we've been giving to make sure that we're safe and that we can protect ourselves. And so I bought 16 cameras. I've got contractors here as we speak. That's why I was late to this. We're installing them. We're putting them all over. We're doing motion detector lights. I am stocked. I have so much litter and food right now. I feel like the cats are going to be taken care of for a long time. I've just been buying a bunch of toys that we needed. Just, little small things like towels and blankets. And I'm just excited to get us not worry about that part of it, like how to fix the problem. And so I'm really appreciative and blown away by all the support we've been given through that. It's been between learning about Jacques and then finding this and just feeling like, you don't belong and you're doing something wrong. To feel this kind of love and support is amazing. So yeah, it's been a really
roller coaster time. It's been a roller coaster. Yeah. That's for sure.
It's been a roller coaster.
Now, you had mentioned before we started that there was something that you wanted to tell me about that was being built. I want to say it was some kind of kitty enclosure or something like that.
Oh yeah. So during the summer season and the warm season, which is in Austin, it's 364 days of the year.
I'm envious. I'm over a state over from you, and I'm always cold.
Yeah. I think last Christmas it was hot. I think it was like 80 degrees.
Oh, that's
but we definitely have some cold times in January, February, and March most of all. So February is probably our coldest time. But anyways, as you know, during the warm season, the spring and the summer, there's a population of cats and dogs and bunnies, and everybody's having a good time.
Right.
And so there's a population explosion, and so we know that the animal shelters are just bursting at the seams with puppies and kittens, and they are even more work than if cats. Of course, cats are easy; they just hang out, take care of themselves. We just have to do their litter and food and water, and then they take care of themselves. Just make sure their flea stuff is up to date, their revolution, their vaccines, and then kittens require a lot of care. And I wanted them to be in the cat cafe to make room for the Humane Society, because they just had them flooding in the hallways when you first walked in, entryway, just kitten cages everywhere. So, but also we have the cats free roaming in the cafe, but small kittens they're babies, they need to be in a little pen. So I built a 5-foot by 10-foot kitten cage that you can walk in and just hang out with kittens, a lot of kittens that are kind of free roaming in a small space, but they're not free roaming around the cafe. We just don't want them to get lost or anything like that. So that was a lot of fun, and I built it out of 2x4s and bullpen wire. And so it was funny to watch it because they would just be like crawling up the side, all up you just look at this cage and there's just like kittens just like crawling up and down it, and people would go in and they'd just be like, oh my God, I'm in heaven. Because you're just all of a sudden you're just around a bunch of kittens, and so it was fun. It was a lot of work, but it was now kitten season's over, and I want my area back, so we're not going to use it. The cats in here don't need it, so we're just taking that outside. It's quite heavy, so I had to get some help to do that. And then those are the same guys that are installing our cameras, so they were really nice about it. Sure, why not?
That's awesome.
But we did have to saw it in half and take it out in pieces. So, but we'll use it next year. Right now, we're going to transform it into a catio. We do have one catio that is already attached to a door, and the cats love going out there. They have so much fun, and so now we're just going to use the kitten cage and create a larger catio. And so we're adding on some square footage for them to go see. I'll have to send you pictures.
Yes, I'll put it on our Facebook page. Well,
for anyone that doesn't know, a catio is just basically an outdoor space. It's a patio for your cat.
Oh, we've talked about catios and how this would be the greatest thing ever. Oh yeah. Well, we're 152 episodes in. I mean, we have to cover some things.
Sure.
Well, I will for all of you who are listening, I will have full notes on the actual cafe, the actual Gofundme. I will have everything right in the descriptions for all of you to look at. It will also be on our Facebook page as well. I really appreciate your time, Rebecca. I really do. I'm glad we were able to sit down and do this.
Yeah, me too.
It's been a pleasure.
It's fun, and I really do appreciate it too.
Let me know if there's you want to come on, you want to talk about anything else. Always open mic for you.
Okay, well, thank you. We'll have to get the cats in on this too.
Awesome.
Right now, they're all sleeping now.
I was going to say, it's very quiet over there. I don't hear anything. Normally the cats are always chirping, so it's always awesome.
Oh my goodness, they sleep all day long around here. You should see it inside. We have a huge tree that's an actual tree cut down, and it goes all the way to the ceiling. It's 15 feet. It's just like got all these branches. Jacques basically put the whole thing together. And I cut it down, but Jacques put it all together. I don't know how he did it. But anyways, they just lay off of it like cats do in the wild. And right now I'm looking up, and there's 7 cats just sleeping in the tree, and it's great. It's wonderful. It's why it makes this worth it.
That just sounds awesome. Yeah, send me pictures. I'll post it up on our Facebook page.
Sure, absolutely. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Have a good one.
Okay, you too.
Bye-bye.
Thank you again, Rebecca, for stopping by. It's funny, we tried to find time to do this, and she was so amazing to make way during construction at the actual Blue Cat Cafe to do this interview. She's absolutely been victimized terribly, as you guys had heard. I don't understand this whole, situation per se. I did a lot of reading about it. I still don't understand. She had nothing to do with the actual property owners bulldozing the previous shop, the Pinata store. So this is just one of those we want it our way kind of moments. And unfortunately, as we can all see in the news, that's kind of how it is. If we don't get it our way, we have to actually, pitch a fit. Which unfortunately, we have to realize in life, this is exactly what life is. We have to deal with so many things, whether we like it or not. We just have to deal with it. That's kind of what these people have to deal with. The property owners are the actual ones that are at fault here. I'm not afraid to say it. I don't have a business there, so obviously I'm free to actually say whatever I want. But you're pretty much cowards to attack a woman and her business because you don't like what's going on. You're cowards, and for that reason, don't look at yourself as being some kind of patriots. You're just jackasses, plain and simple. And of course, as always, I always love to talk to people like that because, and I'm not talking about Rebecca, I'm talking about these idiots that want to hide behind their cause. I love talking to people like that because I like to expose the stupidity of those types of people. Deal with it. Your problem is not with her. Your problem is with the property owners. Go after them. That's fine. But do it in a nice way. Do it in more of a legal way. Don't go in and attack somebody and destroy business. There's absolutely no reason and no principles behind it. You're just pitching a fit because you're not getting your own way. On the other side, though, I have to say, a cat cafe sounds like a lot of fun to go to. I would love to be able to go down there, have a cup of coffee, pet some cats, enjoy some time. Hey, maybe even spend some time on the catio. Love to do that as well. Because honestly, there's nothing better in this world than to be around animals. Case in point, you got a bunch of mouth breathers that are just jerks, and they're human. Got to go around the animals because they're the only ones that have pure intentions and are actually kind-hearted. It's kind of funny how it works. The more I'm around animals, the more I prefer them opposed to people. Another reason why I like doing a podcast about animals is that I have such a strong fiber for them and less for the people around. How many times do we talk about animal abusers, animal hoarders, all of the above? It's not the four-legged that's the problem here. It's the two-legged. Those are the people that are causing most of the problems. You never see an animal say, I don't like this business, so I'm gonna XYZ. No. Instead, you actually see the two-leggeds throwing some kind of fit. Well, if you don't like the business, here's a good example of what to do. Don't get near it. Go to another part of town. But throwing rocks, making kind of problems like this isn't going to stop anything except for just paint a terrible picture of you and your cause. If you had a good cause, I'm pretty sure she would have been out of business. But because you're just a bunch of cowards, well, that's not a good cause. You're just bullies. And you know what? There's no place for that in this world. Well, I guess you know what? I've gone through a rant long enough. I think I'm going to go get ready to go spend some time with some amazing animals because they make me happy. I'm Chris Green. Have a pet-tastic week. Bye-bye.
Okay, gotta go in my bedtime.
And now the show is over now.